Good evening, welcome to the Buck Stops here. I'm Vishnu Shom. On the program tonight, Shashi Tharoor on how hypocrisy and bigotry have won after his private member's bill to decriminalize homosexuality was negated. We also debate this. Only the BJP to blame, not the Congress party itself, on the issue of decriminalization homosexuality. Also on the program, an NDTV exclusive. Did Vijay Mallya use ghost firms to buy top properties at a huge discount to dodge bank recoveries? Also, and it is a packed program tonight, yet another exclusive, why the army has just half the bulletproof jackets that it needs. In a scathing piece on the NDTV website, ndtv.com, the Congress MP Shashi Tharoor has expressed bitter disappointment over the Lok Sabha voting against the introduction of a private member's bill brought by him on Friday. Tharoor says, "I give up, hypocrisy and bigotry have won." This is in fact the second time in 3 months that Tharoor's bill has been defeated in the House. Mr. Tharoor was seeking an amendment to Section 377 of the Indian Penal Code that criminalizes homosexuality. Shashi Tharoor joins me now. Mr. Tharoor, in your article, you write that MPs from several parties who had promised support simply didn't turn up.
No, I spoke to people from 5 or 6 parties. Some did say that being Friday afternoon, they would be on the way to the airport to go back to their constituencies. Some said they would attend. Some said they would ask colleagues to be there. In the end, we got a rather disappointing 14 votes, which was lower than the 27 we'd got last time.
And the point that you make is that there is a possibility of the bill on the rights of transgender people actually affecting the passage of a law that decriminalizes homosexuality in the future.
Well, not exactly. What it would do essentially is would grant rights to transgenders, and therefore those parts of 377, or by implication the extension of 377 to transgenders would no longer be possible. But those straight people who are not just going in for penile vaginal intercourse, and homosexuals, lesbians, gays and others would actually be still subject to the criminal provisions of the section. It is rather bizarre. We're being very progressive and very 21st century on transgender issues. The Supreme Court has become the first in the world to actually recognize a third gender and oblige the government to honor a third gender and give them their rights and identity. But on something which the rest of the world has long since embraced, the rights of people who have same-sex love, I find this entire thing utterly bizarre.
Part of what you say is the world's largest hypocrisy. But Shashi, you've now given up hope on this issue. You've done it twice trying to get a private member's bill through. It's not worked twice. So what is the road ahead for you and this issue?
I think this method of the private member's bill has probably come to an end simply because, as Einstein said, doing the same thing over and over again in the expectation of a different result is a definition of insanity. I'd rather keep my sanity. But fortunately, the Supreme Court has agreed to hear a curative review petition. And the court has often, in fact, for a great many issues, the court has been ahead of Parliament in terms of interpreting legislation in a progressive and constructive manner. Most jurisprudences in democracies around the world have ruled that prohibitions like Section 377 are violative of discrimination laws and equality, privacy and dignity statutes. We have all of this in our Constitution. Articles 14, 15 and 21 uphold the very principles that are sought to be violated. So I'm really hopeful that the Supreme Court will agree with the Delhi High Court's ruling of 2009 and find this unconstitutional.
It would therefore have to go against
the court in 2013.
It would have to overturn its own judgment of September 2013, which you call lamentable on the grounds of judicial overreach, which was of course a huge setback. Right. But the larger point that you raise, and that's completely something that we here in NDTV endorse, is that there needs to be a review of this one way or the other, whether it's going to be through new laws or whether it's going to be through the Supreme Court. Now, Shashi Tharoor, thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you, Vishnu.
All right, well, that is the big debate this evening. And the question is this, that's an MP who has brought a private member's bill on 2 occasions. It's been shouted down on 2 occasions. He says he's given up hope, at least in this session of Parliament. But is the Congress party, of which Shashi Tharoor is also a member, is that also not to blame? For 10 years, what was the Congress party doing? Is it all okay to say that, look, it's the BJP that is not interested in this? Joining us now to debate this, Shaina NC of the BJP, Sanjay Jha of the Congress, Kalikesh Singh Deo of the BJD, and the equal rights activist Harish Iyer. I'd like to thank all of you for joining us. We've got very little time today. Let me come quickly across to Shaina first. Shaina, what was the point in shouting out Shashi Tharoor without even listening to what he had to say? There was no debate at all. You just shouted out.
Well, I think that you need to understand that it is a private member's bill, and if you look at the history of Indian parliamentary democracy, I don't think there are more than 2 occasions historically wherever a private member's bill has been entertained. It is the prerogative of the parliamentarians present and the people in the House to decide whether this should be deliberated on and discussed on or not. If you ask what our party's stand is, I think Mr. Arun Jaitley has specified, and he has spoken on multiple occasions saying that yes, regressive 18th century archaic laws cannot put people behind bars. Whether you agree or disagree, homosexuality is a reality, and yes, I think that in the days to come, first let's decriminalize
but that's exactly what he was trying to do.
Ensure that people are not at all put behind bars for choices of their own. Amendments, hear me out, Vishnu. Amendments to this particular section need to be deliberated in Parliament, but are we as a democracy mature enough to take on multiple issues within this clause itself? Or first is the first step, the first baby step rather, to ensure that nobody is put behind bars. But what was wrong in listening to what
an MP had to say as in a private member's bill? Everything you're saying is right, Shaina. What was the problem in listening to him?
The parliamentarians across the board.
Absolutely.
This is not the onus of just the party in power and the BJP. You have 100%. To ask this question to every parliamentarian.
In fact, I'm going to ask that question.
And if there is a hypocrisy in our society, if there is a certain resistance to discuss Article 377, why is it?
Okay, let me go straight across to Sanjay Jha. Sanjay, it's all very well for the Congress party to now say that, look, we back Shashi Tharoor 100%. Why then were several Congress leaders, among others, who had promised him support, not present in Parliament on Friday when he introduced this private member's bill?
Vishnu, let me make the Congress party's position on Section 377 categorical on the NDTV channel today, and I'm reiterating it not for the first time. We believe that Section 377 is anachronistic, it's really antiquated, it ought to go. And the truth of the matter is that the Bharatiya Janata Party, which has got the RSS ideology behind it, has got a very retrograde, regressive attitude towards it. I think Shaina is being disingenuous here by quoting Arun Jaitley, because Home Minister Rajnath Singh has been on record in 2013 to say that they will oppose Section 377 because they believe it's an unnatural act. Some time ago, a very senior leader, Dr. Subramanian Swamy, has gone on record to say that the party position of the BJP is that homosexuality is a genetic disorder. You have had the close advisor to the BJP, Baba Ramdev, using very demeaning terms, calling it a disease. So these are certain, no, Shaina, please do not interrupt. Shaina, please do not interrupt. That's not a very civilized discussion. I would request you to kindly let me finish. No, I'm not.
Sanjay,
let me finish.
Yes, Sanjay,
please
go ahead.
Shaina,
I'll come
I think
to you.
That's a basic decency
I will come to you,
expect.
Shaina. Yes, Sanjay, go ahead quickly.
Yeah, you know, Vishnu, the truth of the matter is that, when people say the Congress, well, the Delhi High Court gave a very landmark progressive verdict in 2009. You're aware of that.
What was the Congress doing for a decade?
I don't think anybody expected. I'm answering that. No, it's not a question of a decade. In 2009, you had a verdict that was being, I think, lauded all over for being a very truly recognizing the liberal
Sanjay,
and what should be the freedom of
let's face
one's
it,
privacies in life.
You could have decriminalized it through legislation. You didn't do that.
Well, let me give an example, Vishnu. You have seen how it is being, even when a private member bill of Dr. Shashi Tharoor is being moved, a very commendable second time effort by him, it has been actually rejected even without any discussion on it. Now that tells you the attitude of the ruling party. To believe, if anyone believes that, you know, this could have gone through a party political
Sanjay,
process,
there are terrible double standards here at so many levels. But let me go across to Kalikesh. I want to go across to Kalikesh Singh.
We never had full majority.
Kalikesh, where does your party stand on this issue? I apologize. We'll get that line back with him once again. Harish Iyer, at the end of the day, the curative review petition coming up in the Supreme Court, is that the only chance of justice that you believe exists, realistically speaking?
Realistically speaking, that's the only charge. And I would also like to counter-react to what Sanjay Jha was speaking. Okay, he's so concerned about the LGBT community. Why didn't he ensure? He's so concerned about Shashi Tharoor. Shashi Tharoor was mocked in Parliament, and his own party man was mocked in Parliament. Where was he? Where was Rahul Gandhi? Where were all the other people who have pledged support to the LGBT cause, and they have very
where was Prime Minister Narendra Modi? Yeah? No, why don't you explain that to
forget that. When I ask a question, why do you have to ask a counter question? He has never come out to support, but you have come out to support. You have come out to support.
No, Mr. Rahul Gandhi has explicitly taken a position on Section 377.
No, but then why was he missing in the Parliament?
Come in, Vishnu.
Shaina, 1 second, I want to bring in, I need to go across to Kalikesh, who's been waiting patiently. Shaina, I'll come to you after that. Kalikesh, would you accept the point that there is fundamental hypocrisy which exists among all political parties? This is an issue that is just too hot to be debated in Parliament. A private member's bill will always get shouted out. It's a sad reality.
Absolutely, Vishnu. Absolutely, Vishnu. This kind of hypocrisy is, it pervades all political parties, and especially when it comes to taking a position which may not be morally or socially acceptable in the Indian heartland, in the Hindi heartland especially. I think all political parties cringe from it. But what happened with Shashi Tharoor this time was something completely surprising to me, because I know private members' bills don't get accepted, they don't get voted in, the government doesn't take it up normally. But to not allow it to be tabled, to not allow its entry is something very unusual. And there is no reason for this homophobia. What are people scared about? What are the people who voted against this scared about? I don't understand. The bill would have been admitted, it may or may not have come for discussion. It's a manner of just bringing attention to the subject. What is wrong with that?